And we're live.
Hey, what's up, Internet? Welcome back to Queen's Landing. This is our second season, but we're back with the seventh season of Game of Thrones, and we just finished watching the season premiere, which is called Dragonstone. I'm Melissa Byrne with my co host Gabby, and we're here with our guest, film editor of The Young Folks, Allyson. And we're just going to delve deep into the first episode, talk about the things that we liked or didn't like. We're going to go ahead and throw some segments at you guys, like our week of the week or our Swing the Swords, and a lot more fun. So get ready. Put on your seatbelts. I'm thinking we're going to probably go in on this episode.
Yeah.
So you guys want to start off with your thoughts?
Yeah, I really liked the episode. I think it touched base on a lot of different characters and stuff. I mean, I wasn't blown away. I think but I do think the ending, with Daenerys finally coming home was like really big, and I'm really excited to see what she does from there. And I'm kind of glad to see a little bit of the like dynamic between John and Sansa, because I've been really curious about that since um the last season finale, and I'm glad that there is tension, because I think it's entertaining, and it makes me really curious to see how that's going to work out in the end, because I'm still not sure what Sansa's thinking, and how she's gonna work with Littlefinger. It's just like, yeah, I just don't know where it's going.
And you, Allie?
Yeah, I kind of wish that the whole episode hadn't been leading up to the big payoff of those last 5 minutes. I thought there were like good individual moments, like small like character beats that were nice, and it was kind of what I expected. I never expect the season premiere to be amazing. It's a show that really builds on itself. So I wasn't necessarily disappointed or anything, but it was kind of what I expected. Again, I liked pieces. I liked what it was hinting at for future episodes, which we can clearly talk about later. And again, the first and last scenes were super satisfying in very different ways. So it at least had that going for it.
Yeah, I liked it. I feel like I started off liking it more, and then in the middle, I was kind of like, hey, I'm not
Waiting for
sure about
something
this. I
to
have a lot of
happen.
questions about a lot of questions about what's going on. And then towards the end, I really liked the ending because there was very little words and dialogue, so you really kind of get to feel and see how Daenerys is reacting to where she was born, to her homeland in Dragonstone. So I really liked how it ended. Um, I just have some questions. It's really hard to think about. I feel like so many things happened. So we started off with a cold opening, which they don't always do for season premieres. We start off a cold opening where we see Walder Free, which, by the way, I knew right away it was Arya because we saw him dead. Did anybody felt confused that it was like, wait, Walder Free?
For a second, I thought they might have been doing a flashback leading up to the moment, but I never thought like he miraculously survived getting his throat slit.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
was like totally confused, honestly. I mean, I had just watched I rewatched the last season finale like the other day, so I was like all fresh in my mind. I'm like, he died. What is he still doing here? Like, what are they? I thought they were like rehashing the Red Wedding for some reason. I don't know.
I
I was
did for a second
confused.
too, actually, to kind of like lead up into the moment where Arya killed him or something. But
Yeah,
once she like brought out the wine, or like once we saw that it was not like the past, we saw them all in the area and they brought out the wine. I was like, okay.
yeah,
I was like, here we go.
yeah. That's when it clicked for me. Like I was like, okay, it's her, and I'm like, I forgot. She can change faces, so yeah, that's
It's crazy that she can't. I mean, it's not only that she can change faces, but like she can have like the hands and the body too. So I'm just so confused by the faceless men magic. But I guess I just have to accept that it is kind of magic, right? I mean, it's not just a
Yeah.
face; it's like a
It's
whole.
a it's a suspend your disbelief type of thing.
Yeah,
In the same way that we're buying that dragons exist. It's just like it's something that happens, and I think the whole idea is essentially she's a spy, but set a spy in a like fantasy setting. So there's going to be less rules. But yeah, I questioned that a lot less than I questioned Ed Sheeran showing up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It seemed a lot more unnatural.
Right.
I forgot about his cameo because there was rumors about it, and then I forgot about it, and then he showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I feel like he kind of didn't blend well with the show or the background because I feel like he stood out like a sore thumb a lot. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, and that like it's a new one line about it being a new song. I was like, you're not here to sell singles.
I know.
Shut up.
It felt so like, I mean, because Game of Thrones is like, I mean, it's this different world. It's this other place. So when you're in it, you're like into this other world. You're not in your world. And Ed Sheeran is like a very prominent figure in our world. So when you see him, and he's very distinctive looking. They didn't even try to like change his look or put like makeup on him,
prosthetics on him.
Yeah, they just like hid his look or something, but they didn't. And then it was like, and they, you first heard him by his voice too. So it was just, I was like, why are you doing this? But
yeah, and it's also not like Game of Thrones is hurting for ratings. So this isn't like some kind of weird publicity grab. And also like, shoot, what was I just going to say? Damn it, it was like a good point, but like, I don't know, just everything about it bugged me a lot. But yeah, the rating, it's like there's no real point to it at all, except for maybe the fact that Ed Sheeran's a fan. And he
I was just
like,
gonna think that. Maybe he was such a big fan that he like begged the showrunners, can I please have a cameo?
But this was my point, is that like what you're saying, like he doesn't fit and he's so much a part of like our modern world, is the fact that like the biggest actor, like now all of them are big obviously because they've been on the show for a while, but like the biggest actor who's cameoed is like Jim Broadbent in tonight's episode, and he's like kind of a character actor beyond, of course, like Sean Bean in the first season, but yeah, everybody else has been like up and comers. So I just think it's stupid. But again, I'll talk on that more later too.
Past Ed Sheeran, we see Arya interacting with a bunch of Lannister soldiers, and during that entire interaction, I was so nervous for her. Like I was so nervous that one of them was gonna finally recognize her. I thought she was being really, really risky. Hopefully she doesn't make any more dumb mistakes, and I thought that was gonna be one of them, perhaps. Or like I thought she maybe was gonna kill all of them. I don't know.
I still think she might. I don't think they'd go through all that and like humanize them to just let her walk away. But
yeah,
I'm thinking maybe they're showing you that to maybe show that she's not just killing anyone and only specific people who've done her and her family wrong. Because I mean, last season when what's his name, Jaqen Hagar, asked her to kill like this random actress, she wouldn't do it because she couldn't do it because this woman has never done anything to her. So I think maybe that was like a callback to that, like saying like, she's kind of bloodthirsty, but she's not completely crazy because she's not just going to kill anyone.
No, yeah, I get that, and I definitely think it showed that in tonight's episode. I just wouldn't be surprised if in the next episode one of them does something wrong, and now the deaths hurt a little bit more because we're like, oh, well, we got to know them a little bit. But I do think tonight it was supposed to be like, look, she has morality still.
Yeah.
Like she's a little wolf, but she's a little feral wolf, but she has a heart. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wouldn't be surprised. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised either if this is the last we see of Ed Sheeran and his stupid face.
I hope so.
They can't bring him back. That would be like, this is a cameo, not a reoccurring
role. Yeah.
And it wasn't even acting. I mean, really.
No.
The placement there.
I mean, I hope it wasn't. Because I'm sad. No, it just seems mean.
The soldiers ask her what she's up to. She's going to King's Landing, and she says she's going to kill the queen, and they all laugh at her. And I couldn't help but think, because we saw her at the Freys, and she killed all of those men. She knew specifically, that Rob had a wife and that she was pregnant, and they killed them. So I'm thinking if she knows that, she must know that her family's in Winterfell, right? I mean, I feel like I'm so hungry for a Stark and the sister reunion that I just want her to go to Winterfell and not right away to King's Landing.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm just kind of desperate here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna prolong that. I think obviously Bran's gonna see them first because we saw that he, met up with the Night's Watch at the wall. But I think the Arya, Sansa, John reunion is gonna be a little longer. I think she's gonna be the last one, and I don't know because I just think she's so hell bent on her mission.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a feeling, an inkling that characters might be reuniting sooner than later. Another point that I'll delve into later in the episode. But that's all I want to say because I don't want to elaborate on it because it was like one of my big points.
I mean,
but yeah,
I
I don't
think
know.
I think a Stark reunion is inevitable only because by sheer vicinity, like they're all kind of closing in on each other for the first time in the longest time. So I think we'll at least see all four of them at least once together on screen. So I'm really excited for that.
Me too. I want
I
a
think
whole episode of just the
everyone
Starks.
is.
Yeah, so then she mentions the queen, and then we have a scene right back to King's Landing where Cersei, we see her kind of, getting ready for battle. She knows that she's surrounded by enemies. She's getting this map painted, and in walks Jaime, and he's letting her know that they're in very serious danger. And she seems, I mean, he thinks that she doesn't really understand that, but I feel like she kind of does because she kind of has her secret weapon who she invites, which is Euron, which I was really liking his costume, by the way, side note. And I thought she did the smart thing in not trusting him right away. So she may be crazier, but she's still smart. She still has her head on her shoulders for now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Cersei has to be smart to get this far. She's very cunning and devious, and I don't think you should counter out so quickly. And I think Jaime was kind of doing that earlier, when he was saying like, you don't have any strong allies, but I feel like she can kind of overcome that to an extent because I do think she's gonna die. She's gonna get, dethroned in some fashion. Probably my prediction by the end of the season. So, but yeah, I have to agree with you on Euron. He looked, very piratish, cool, even though I can't stand that character.
Yeah. If only they could have muted him.
Yeah, just let him like
Yes.
flourish along, I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, I think it was very smart of Cersei to not accept his proposal. I think she saw how kind of like ridiculous he is, and
He betrays everyone, so why would she trust him?
exactly. So I'm glad that she's thinking. She's being very careful about what she does next because she knows that her own throne is very precarious at the moment.
I agree. I mean, I also am just kind of disinterested or uninterested in Cersei at the moment. Like beyond Sam, which I'm always kind of like, ugh, at another Sam scene. I'm kind of like her scenes are the least interesting to me. Because again, more than any others, it felt like setup. Like literally, Euron stopped by and was like, "Hey, I exist. This is a team up that might happen for all the viewers who may have forgotten that Euron exists at all. But now I'm gonna go and do my own storyline." Like, so it just felt like really forced to me. I was like, you could have like hinted at this, like shown a letter, like them corresponding. Like it's like how fast do people travel in Westeros?
I think it's going to happen
Like,
more because we only have 7 hours this season, and then
yeah.
altogether only 13 more episodes. Well, now I'm worried that the gift he's going to bring is a prisoner, and I'm thinking it's going to be Tyrion because I feel like everybody else is disposable. But
Or a
Tyrion's
dragon.
a dragon. This is true.
How would he bring a grown dragon or an egg or what?
Oh, I don't know. It was
Well,
kind of
he
weird.
could kill. What if, he could kill one of her dragons? The thing is, like,
Bullshit.
he has sailed around the world.
I think Tyrion's a bigger prize for Cersei. That's
Yeah.
who I immediately
Well,
thought of when
that's
he
what I
walked
said,
away.
Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but
Tyrion's
I
the
really
most valuable
don't
asset
want
in her
that to
squad.
happen.
I don't want
So
that to
I would.
happen either.
So
But
I think I'd rather a dragon. So like, but I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. But I desperately don't want to. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that one.
we leave the South and we go up north, and we're seeing Jon Snow and Sansa and all the houses in the north. They're talking about what's their next move, and I just feel like this is, I mean, it was really, really great interaction to kind of see how different they think, how, you know, Jon is and how Sansa is. It kind of has this whole feeling of, are you on Team Jon or in Team Sansa? And I'm really, gotta say, I'm thinking I'm Team Sansa, because let me tell you something. Last season, in the last season finale, when they already battled at the Bastards Bowl, and then all the houses kind of met up and they kind of made Jon king. But before that happened, like Jon kind of forgave House Clover, and I thought that was a mistake, because you know why? They didn't answer the call, and I think he kind of should have punished them somehow. And so that's how I feel about that. So I feel like Jon's wrong and Sansa's right. What do you guys think?
I don't.
I agree with Jon.
Me too. I think
I don't.
they have bigger fish to fry. It's like it's the end of the world, or some like house disputes against children whose fathers are dead from their mistakes. Like, I think I like Sansa. I think Sansa's a really interesting character who has grown even more so over the seasons. But I think due to what she's been through and due to like Littlefinger's nudging, like I think she's being almost too cynical and thinking too much of like punishing people still, which is unnecessary when you're thinking about the grand scope of there's literally an army of the undead marching towards us. But Gabby, I'd be interested to hear what you say, since I don't think it's a team anything
I don't think it's cynical when you've lived through what she's lived through, and also she knows that Cersei is still there, and she knows how Cersei thinks. So I feel like he should be listening to her more.
I think if anybody, I think anybody who goes through the shit that Sansa goes through would become a cynic against people who don't necessarily deserve cynicism. And I think that's the case in this instance. Like, I think the fact is that like she's letting her own personal stuff cloud her judgment a little bit. But again, I don't think it's a Jon versus Sansa thing. I think it's the two of them working out how on earth do they work together when they have different world views and different point of views or whatever. And one's been a leader of an army, and one has survived other people's foul leadership. Like, I think it's really interesting, but I don't necessarily think it's like one versus the other. But I think in this one judgment call, I'd be Team Jon.
It made it feel that way, especially when, you know, she's trying to counsel him, but he keeps on like shutting down her idea, and he's just saying, don't undermine me, and he's not really taking her advice at all. And he's done that before with Battle of the Bastards, and he didn't listen to her, and then he ended up doing the opposite of what she said and fell into Ramsay's trap. So he's going against her again, and I think it's another dumb mistake. But that's my take. What do you think, Gabby?
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I agreed with Jon just because I felt he was right. Like, those children shouldn't have suffered because of what their parents did. I don't think
they weren't gonna kill them.
No,
but they were gonna cast them out of their homes.
Yeah, take them out of. They wouldn't have nothing. I mean, they would have been.
They can go somewhere else.
I mean,
to the undead.
Yeah, they have to again. But you're punishing them for something their parents did. Like, I mean, it's just like now is not the time to set examples.
But then what are the houses that actually help them supposed to do? Because I feel like that's going to cause some resentment, and then in the long run, that's going to make me.
That wouldn't cause resentment.
It could maybe make them betray Jon because they feel some type of way.
It would show Jon. It would show that Jon has mercy. And then they would follow him. They would follow him more. They would respect him more because they know that he wouldn't just kick you out once you did something that betrayed him.
I also don't think the show's going to drag this certain plot point out very long because they have 7 episodes this season. Like, yeah. I think, like, nobody's in episode 5 is going to be like, yeah, but remember when he, like, let those 2 children go home? Like, I just don't think the show's going to be, like, caring about that in an episode or 2, like, at all. Like, I think the more nefarious subplot in all of this is, like, that Littlefinger wants to marry Sansa, and he's going to fucking needle in her head and make her think that Jon is against her when it's not. So, and the whole line in the trailer is, like, a lone wolf is in danger, but as a pack you survive. Like, who the hell do we think that's talking about? Sorry, I forget what our swearing policy is here, so I won't. But
it's my hope that
say it on Game of Thrones. You can say it here.
It's just my hope that she doesn't let. It's my hope that she just comes up with her own plan without needing Littlefinger or her brother. I just feel like, again, like we've seen her go through too much for her to like do something bad to her brother, or like going with the evil guy, or I don't know. I'm just hoping that she as well, but without being manipulated once again.
I agree that, like, I don't want her to be manipulated, and I don't want John. I mean, I don't think John was trying to shut her down. I personally am always like, you know, if you have an issue with someone, you should always go to them privately and discuss it, and not like put it out in front of everyone, because then it shows discord and it doesn't show united front. And I think that's how John felt in that moment when Sansa undermined him, because she was going against him. And like, why didn't she bring that up before the meeting? You know, why bring it up now? So it's like, that's the kind of thing that that's one reason why I said it with John. Like, you can't, if you want to work together, you should work together beforehand and not, you know, communicate your differences in front of everyone, because then it puts everyone on the spot and you're not going to get shit done. So I just think that, you know, Sansa needs to understand that. And
Sansa's also gone a long time, like, having to work against people that, like, you know, it's kind of customary at this point for her to be like, well, how can we survive a little bit better? By casting out anybody who's ever gone against us in the past, because that makes us safest. So just, like, everything she did was in character. I just disagreed. You know, like, I just thought it was the wrong course of action.
And I'm just really confused after her little thing with Littlefinger. I have no idea if she sees value in him or not, and if she's gonna.
That's why I'm hoping she's not gonna let him manipulate her, and she's gonna turn it around and like let him think like you're getting in my head, but you're really not, because I'm playing you. You're not playing me. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for too, because I'm like, I just can't go down this road again with her. Like,
I assume she does know, considering her line of, I know exactly what he wants. Like,
yeah,
I think that's pretty telling. But that's just my thoughts. And like, if I had to predict a character to die this season, it's him. And that might be wish fulfillment, but I think it's him. You think it's Cersei? I mean, it could really realistically be both. But like, I'm guessing Littlefinger is a definite. That should have gone later too.
It's just, you know, there's a line that she said on the show tonight where she had compared John to the father and the brother, but she's absolutely right. They did the right thing or whatever, they were honorable, and they both lost their heads. So I'm just thinking about it from her perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely think John should listen to Sansa, because she knows how everyone else operates. So I just think there's like a more effective way to communicate that.
Yeah. And I think he did listen. The way they played the scene, like, it just was interrupted.
Yeah.
But I think it did look as if they were having a conversation as sister and brother, like people who respected one another. And like, there's a reason why they're framing it so much to look like Catelyn and Ned too, down to like the outfitting and how they look in a scene. Like, it's just two people. I mean, like, beyond the marriage stuff, but like, I just think, you know, I think viewers, because like, I've talked to a couple people who keep thinking that like Sansa's somehow going to disrupt everything for Jon. I think we've just all become really used to that kind of thing on the show, and I don't think the show has the time for it anymore. So I just think we're kind of like poking and like, okay, well, how are they going to screw this one up? And I don't think it's going to happen. But maybe I'm being optimistic.
Maybe you are.
Because I'm really feeling like listless without my books to guide me still. So like, so it's stressing me out. So I'm going to be optimistic, which Game of Thrones has taught me never to do, and hope for the best. Yes. See? Good plan.
And then what else do we see in this episode? We see, is that the last thing we see is Daenerys. Are we missing any other?
We saw Sam. And his
So,
little
that's right. In the
Old
Citadel,
Town, yeah, in Citadel.
he's this rookie having this shittiest job. Get it?
Oh,
I walked away and did some chores for that scene.
It was so
it was too
gross.
much. Like after they repeated it for like the third time, I'm like, okay.
I was like, when did Game of Thrones become a slapstick comedy? Because I can't deal with
That's
this.
what I thought. I thought that was kind of like a new thing for them because they're never really funny, and that was kind of like a long moment for them to have this kind of like comedic relief of him like having the crappy job, being like the lowest of the low. I thought that was
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jorah!
Yeah, that was the only moment of like
I almost forgot.
value.
He's alive. He lives.
Barely.
He was like, I know. I wonder if he's gonna play a big role out of there. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I kind of don't want to see him in full.
They brought him back, which means he's gonna be cured of grayscale. Come on.
I hope
I
so.
don't
brought him
think he cares.
Huh?
Maybe he'll just die nobly, trying to save Daenerys again. Like I don't know if they could cure him.
Well, no, I mean, I'm saying, I'm saying he'll live at least through this season. I mean, I'm saying I feel like they're going to reunite again. Like he'll be healed or whatever at the Citadel, and then he'll go back to Daenerys as she ordered him to.
Jorah was such a nice guy, like a nice guy that I just don't care at this point. But like he's sexy, so there's that. But like I don't know what other value comes from him.
I mean, he's been there for her. Okay, he like betrayed her in the middle, but then he stopped. I'm a fan of Jorah.
But you just said that people who are betrayed should be cast out.
And she did. She exiled him
so he
twice.
Should stay.
She exiled him twice.
Exiled.
She exiled him twice, but then it's like she said, it's like I can't get rid of you, and it's like I can't take the kingdoms without you. So go ahead, heal yourself, and come bring yourself back to me. I, like Daenerys Stormborn, can forgive sometimes. Okay, after being exiled twice. I just feel like he has shown that he's loyal, but he has actually proven that he is loyal, even if someone has exiled him twice. So that's like proof.
There's just so many characters and there's so many moving parts that I just don't know if I have time for Jorah's man pain in the last season or last season and a half, whatever it is.
I don't think they're gonna dwell on it that much anyway.
I don't actually really either, but I was curious to see him. His arm grossed me out. And he'll surely make Sam's scenes more interesting because I don't find Sam that interesting. I know his stuff is really integral to the plot. Like, it's too much. It's like, hey, look, Dragonstone, that must be important. Let me message John. It's like, oh, okay.
Shouldn't have been important already, like by its name, but never mind.
I mean,
yeah,
I feel
right.
He found out what we all already knew, right? So I'm still wondering,
essentially,
like, is he gonna leave the library like in the next episode? Like, is he gonna dip out and just go?
No, Jorah's there now. There needs to be a link.
I think Jorah's gonna like help facilitate the meeting of Jon Snow and Daenerys in some way.
Yeah,
if he gets out in time, because I feel like they're gonna meet in the next episode because of the preview.
Yeah, that made it sound like that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they talking about him considering meeting her.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I have a feeling again they're going to meet sooner than later. It's my assumption
because
to all these characters.
It has to move fast. It's only 7.
Well, 6 more now.
Oh yeah, 6 more.
Yeah.
So then finally we come to the end of the episode where Daenerys Stormborn finally lands in Dragonstone, and they have a costume change. Everyone's wearing sleeves now because it's all cold. Winter has come. She's wearing her badass kind of like black and red. I love the costumes. I love it. So it was really like a quiet scene, and I kind of loved that because she kind of got to take it in, and she didn't speak until the very last shot when she said, "Shall we begin?" And I really liked it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a big moment, and they made it. They did a very good job, and I like the quietness and just kind of the profoundness of it for her to come home when she touched the sand and walked into the room. It was great. I'm so excited she's finally Westeros. Honestly, after all these seasons, she's there.
I know.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah. After 5 books and 6 seasons, I'm really excited. I think it just showed what Game of Thrones does best, because like I don't think Game of Thrones is like the epitome of like great dialogue or acting at times, but I think scale, it's something like no other show touches it in terms of its sheer scale and scope, and showing the whole Dragonstone area and like the way they got those aerial shots, so everything felt so momentous. It really felt significant, which it is. Like no matter what in the narrative, it's a huge moment, but it felt that way too, so that you could kind of ignore some of the dumber things that happen in the episode, because you're like, okay, well, this is what I was waiting for, and this is what makes the show for me. So I really loved it. It just really epitomized everything that I love about the show in a very short sequence with very little dialogue going on. And the music was wonderful. I'm gonna look it up after this.
Yeah, it was great. The music when she's right at the door, I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
I know, chills.
Yeah.
Yes. So now that that's done, we can go into our segments, and I'm sure we'll probably talk a little bit more about our favorite moments or at least favorite moments with the segments. So first up, what we have is our Reek of the Week. So the Reek of the Week is basically a character that we're disappointed in, or we disagree with, or think that they, generally kind of suck. And it's named after the Reek himself, Theon Greyjoy. So I'll go first. My Reek of the Week is probably Jon Snow, as you may have guessed. I just disagree. I just disagree with him, and I hope they can come into an agreement. I really don't want to see Starks fighting, because I feel like they've been away from each other as a family, all of them, for so long that it would be kind of a shame to spend any time with them disagreeing the whole time. So I just feel like hopefully they come into an agreement soon. And yeah, that's how I feel about it. How about you, Allie?
My Reek? Littlefinger. Because Littlefinger is always my Reek of the Week if he's in an episode. Because I hate him. And I am just so sick of his weird accent that changes from Batman to Irish. And like, I just am ready for him to get the hell out of the North. Like, I don't care where you go, just leave the Starks alone. So yeah, I think his presence just like can ruin a whole scene to me. I'm just like, why are you still around? But yeah, so definitely Littlefinger.
Yes. And you, Gabby?
Well, you just reminded me that the Hound was in this episode.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, because like he was like, why is he still around? And I'm like, I was thinking about that, about the Hound. Like, why is he still around? But he's not my Reek of the Week. But yeah.
Second, because I completely missed that. Okay, I just kind of called a little bit of BS of him seeing visions.
Yeah, I was like, if we can't see the visions, how can he? Like, I'm joking, but like, it was weird.
I mean, he's never been into religion, so it's just weird for that character to be seeing. For a second, I thought he was saying that just to like, humor them, and he was gonna bust out with like, y'all are full of crap, but then he didn't, and I thought that was kind of weird. It felt a little out of place. Am I alone in this?
Yeah, it was really long for me, that whole section on him, and I don't really understand what his purpose is yet. And I mean, other than like to confirm that the White Walkers are coming, like that, we already know that.
We already know, yeah.
So
I think he's gonna play a bridge character. Like, I think he's gonna bring certain characters together in the same way that Jorah and Sam might be bringing some people together. Mm-hmm. I don't know beyond that, but I mean, again, I was already so thrown by Sheeran showing up that like anything after it, I was like, oh, this is normal. This is fine.
Yeah, well, speaking of Ed Sheeran, he's my Reek of the Week.
Oh my God.
Okay, come on. I mean, we spoke about it earlier.
Yeah, it was like a moment. It was a moment.
I know, but it was annoying. Okay, it took me out of the show, and I was just like, why is this happening? And that's never happened before. I mean, I've gotten upset at this show, but never taken me out of it. Like, it's just, it was so strange and weird and such a bad decision. I mean, I don't know. I was just like, yeah. And that whole scene, I was just like waiting for it to end because it was like so cringeworthy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sorry, Ed Sheeran. I hope you don't come back because you're my reek of the week.
I'm sure we've seen the last of him, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And then next up, we have our Lord/Lady Commander of this episode. This is basically the person that we really loved this episode, the MVP. And you guys want to go ahead first? I'm still thinking about mine. I don't really know.
Well, mine's Arya. Like, hands down, she murdered all the Freys. Like, totally Arya. Like, I thought she was a little badass. I thought it was like a culmination of her journey the last couple seasons, and how she's become such like a stone cold killer. Did she do necessarily like the right things? Debatable, but like I thought there was a lot of justice and satisfaction that came from her scenes, and it shows just how powerful she is with just her training. Like, I think it's awesome. I can't wait to her to run into the rest of the Starks and for them to see how much she's changed. So I'm really excited. I really loved her. She like stole a lot of moments for me just from that one sequence.
Yeah, I agree. Mine is also Arya.
Yay!
Because she was I mean that cold open was just fantastic, and I mean yeah, I agree. It's maybe there's some morality,
Yeah.
issues going on here, but she's finally becoming who she set out to become like 2-3 seasons ago, and I'm just like I mean it was just great. I think she's the lone wolf. It's just I think the rest of her plot line is going to be really interesting this season.
Me too.
I feel like she might die. She's just so blinded by revenge. It could happen.
They won't kill her. She's one of the favorites, and like, despite what they say that your favorites can die, Tyrion is not going to die, Arya is not going to die, and Dany's not going to die. And I would make like bets on that because they're favorites in a different way than like leads. They're literally like the pinnacle of the series. At least in the books, I know they'll never kill those characters because those are literally like George R. R. Martin's self-inserts, especially Tyrion. But yeah, I don't imagine Arya dying. I think Arya is going to kill a lot of people.
I love Arya, but I have just questionable storyline. I still have issues with it. I'm sorry. But obviously really cool. I mean, I guess that makes some sense because she learned a lot about poison during her useless training. And then, she did the whole face thing, so that made sense. I liked how she didn't let the girls drink the poison because she's like, I only have issue with your soldiers. So I liked those aspects. I guess if I'm thinking about the MVP of the episode and not really character, I'm gonna give it to Cersei because I feel like she's making being the villain. She's like that moment when she dies is gonna be all the sweeter because she's so confident right now. She thinks she has everything, laid down, and she's gonna, defeat the enemies of the East, West, and South. And she thinks she's got this. She's really strong and confident. She's making alliances. So I feel like just all of this is going to be making her downfall that much sweeter. So she kind of really stood out to me in this episode. So she's my lady commander of this episode. And then next up, we have our Swing the Sword segment. This is from the quote from the great Eddard Stark, which Jon Snow said tonight again, the man who passes the sentence should swing the sword. And this is basically us taking our metaphorical swords and swinging it towards a character that we generally didn't really agreed with. Is this what it is, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So you're going to state the name of your sword. Sorry, I'm doing this in a year. You're going to tell us the name of your sword and then who you're using it on. And Gabby, do you have one?
Yeah, so I changed the name of my sword from last year. I don't even remember what it was. It was something really
something
stupid.
ridiculous.
It was something stupid.
It was something from Jamie Lannister's commercial.
Oh, it was, but I forgot what that's called. Shit. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna name mine Fireheart, because I don't know. This just came to my head and I like it. I'm gonna swing it at Ed Sheeran.
Oh my god.
Damn it, seriously, he was mine, Gabby.
Joking. I'm gonna swing it at Euron Greyjoy, because I don't want him to come back. I feel like he's gonna waltz back into King's Landing with Tyrion, and I don't want that to happen.
Yes.
So,
that'll cause drama though.
I know it would cause drama, but I'm like afraid. So
it's really stressful. I'm stressed about it.
It's stressful drama, which I'd rather avoid at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna swing my sword at Euron Greyjoy. Plus, he's like kind of a despicable person, so that too.
Yes.
No.
And Allie?
Sorry, stopping a catastrophe. So I forget what mine was last year. I have a feeling it's similar as mine this year. Oh my god! Damn it! I don't know where you guys just went. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh wait, now you're gone.
We can't hear you.
Okay. I don't know what he just did.
Your cat's like Ed Sheeran of this.
Yeah, he's biting me really hard too right now. So, female rage is what it is right now. I was trying to think of something like a little bit more eloquent, but I couldn't, and then I panicked. So female rage, but now I thought men tears because of like today in the Doctor Who news, and that just cracked me up a little bit. But I'm gonna swing it at Ed Sheeran's stupid head, because he really almost ruined the episode to me, and it was such a it was so close to being a jumping the shark moment for the show, where all of a sudden you're like, that was the dumbest mistake you've ever made. Because I understand that it seems so like innocuous and like whatever, it's dumb, but it's never gonna happen again. But it's like, how could you do something so tone deaf to your series that actually makes a large part of viewers go, what are you doing? So yeah, I would swing it at him. Like, there's other characters I don't like, but I'm sure they'll do something else later down the line to piss me off worse than what they did tonight. And Ed Sheeran's going to be in this one. So, yeah, I wish we could erase the whole block that he was in it.
My swing the sword. Well, my sword's name is Dawn. I remember that from last year. And I'm going to swing it at Littlefinger, because I still think he's slimy and gross. When he was coming up to Sansa saying, I'm like, I just feel like he just wants her. It's gross. It's grossing me out. And plus, I'm scared that he's going to get into her head. I'm scared that they're going to crap all over her storyline with that stupid manipulation thing that she's already been through. So he just really annoys me. So I'm swinging the sword at Littlefinger. Just hoping that somebody tells Arya about what he did and like he'll be on her list. So yes, Littlefinger. Our next segment we have coming up is our Green Sight segment. This is where basically we try to predict what might happen with a character or storyline in the next episode or down the season. And we kind of touched upon it a little bit earlier when I said I think maybe Dany and Jon might meet in the next episode, since I feel like things are like very fast paced. Maybe it could happen in the next episode. Do you have anything else right now? They want to jump in? Allie,
yeah, I was kind of thinking today about who was going to take the throne at the end, and I feel like I don't know. I was thinking it's either gonna be Daenerys or it's gonna be someone despicable like Littlefinger. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, do you think that does it even matter who takes the throne at this point? Like, do you think Daenerys is going to take it regardless?
I am actually curious if it ends in a way where there is one queen or king, or if it ends up with there being like sections, because I do think we're at a point where, like, again, the end is near for them. all of them. So like, will this really matter? Like, I think this season is going to be the season where like they're duking it out for power, and then next seasons are going to be like, well, shit, like we have bigger problems. And so I wonder if it is going to matter. But I do think, like, I honestly think that for the show's makeup is fantasy, and despite the fact that they've gone out of their way to show that like it has real consequences and it's like the real world and people die, I don't think they want to end it with somebody like Littlefinger getting the throne. Like, I genuinely think that like it won't necessarily be a happy ending, but I don't think they would ever want it to be an unsatisfactory ending. And I think ending it with somebody like him, and I know we're just using him as an example, would leave so many people pissed off. And like, should they do things for fans? No. But are they savvy to the fact that like what they are, like their lifeblood is this fantasy setting, and in fantasy settings people love it when heroes win. So I don't know. But I don't have a prediction of who necessarily, but I do have a feeling it won't just be one person on the Iron Throne or whatever. But I think we might be more like relieved than we think we're going to be. Unless they all die from the White Walkers.
That's what I mean, I feel like by the end there may be no throne. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I lean closer to that than one person getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. Yeah, I don't think that throne. I think those White Walkers are going to destroy that throne, and ultimately, it's just going to be about not going extinct.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Do you think that, let's say Jon Snow sends a raven, or he shows up to King's Landing himself and tells Cersei about the White Walkers, that she would help? Or do you think the White Walkers are going to come down by the end of the season and then she'll see them for herself and then she'll join in the fight? Or what do you guys think about that?
I'm not even sure she'll make it to
and
that.
join the Starks.
Yeah.
You think she'd rather die by the Night's King hand than join the Starks?
Oh, hell yeah. Because then she'll have her pride.
Yeah.
That's what she cares about.
Yeah. I can't
But I also
ever teaming up with them.
I'm not
That's what I
convinced
thought too.
she'll live to see the White Walkers.
Huh? Sorry?
I'm not convinced yet that she'll even live to see the White Walkers. So, but I definitely agree with Gabby that, like, I think she'd be like, God, no. And, like, walk straight into them rather than give up, like, her sense of pride and team up with people who she believes killed her son.
That's what I thought so too. But then I remember last season when she joined up with Olenna Tyrell to go up against the High Sparrow, because they had a common goal, is to get rid of him, to get Marjorie out. So maybe she can put aside her pride sometimes and
but then she killed all the Tyrells.
Except for her.
Yeah, that was after.
Yeah.
That was after.
Oh yeah, was it? I'm so.
Yeah. I think her end game wasn't always to stay with the Tyrells. I think she knew once she gets what she wanted, that she was going to move on and do something else. So
yeah.
So she used the Starks as help to get rid of the White Walkers and then kill the Starks. I mean, in her mind, I don't know.
No, I don't know. I still don't think she would. I think the Tyrells are a different beast to her than the Starks.
Yeah.
The Starks and the Lannisters are the ones that started this whole mess. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I can't see it happening.
It'd be hilarious if it does, but like, I can't imagine Cersei standing side by side with Jon. Like,
no.
It would just be ridiculous.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess sometimes she's kind of unpredictable. Because I feel like maybe when she joined up with the Tyrells, she was also thinking about her son. But now that she has no more children, she has nothing else to lose. So she may not join up with the Starks to defeat White Walker. So who knows what's going to go through her mind.
Yeah. Again, I'll be curious if we even get to that point. But who knows? I'm in the dark. Don't like it.
Yeah, because, I mean, because the thing is with Jon, he's trying to get all the houses joined up together to defeat the common enemy. So you would think, you know, trying to get in with Cersei to try to defeat the White Walkers would be one of the ways to go about it, since he's so worried mostly about the White Walkers and not the petty games the Lords play.
Yeah. Oh, that makes. I mean, I understand where you're going with that. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they show him like sending a raven to alert her. I don't think he's gonna be like leaving the kind of northern radius anytime soon. Like unless it's to go see Dany. Like I think that's the farthest he's going to go this season at least. Because it's right now he's like the ice part of A Song of Fire and Ice or Ice and Fire. So which one is it? Actually no.
A
Fire
Song
and
of
Ice,
Ice
right?
and Fire. No, Song of Fire and
Song
Ice.
of Ice and Fire.
Fire and Ice sounds better. So if it's not that, I'm kind of judgy. But yeah. So I don't know. I think in theory it's kind of cool to think about them meeting up. I just again, it's about time. I don't think the show really has the time to have him globe-trotting to King's Landing and back, while also trying to possibly meet Dany, reunite with Arya, reunite with Bran, wage a war too. I just think there's a lot going on, and I think if anything, maybe he'll clash with like the Greyjoys working as liaisons for Cersei. But this is so much predicting based on like a promo.
Yeah. That's makes
on my
just
part.
like trying to figure out like, okay, what is gonna go down? Because it was like 15 seconds of like flash, 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 and you're just like,
It's
okay.
really short. We see
Who
a
was-
dire wolf, maybe
who was-
Nymeria.
I thought it was Ghost for a second, but maybe that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally thought it was Ghost just because he's the only one the CGI is cracked to let us see in seasons. The dragons are too goddamn expensive, so we can't get our wolves.
Yeah, but
Alrighty, so if we have no more final thoughts, we're gonna close it out right about now. And we're gonna be here again next Sunday talking about the next episode, which is I think called Stormborn. You can follow us on Twitter at TYF Official. We're on YouTube and Facebook. You can follow me at Your Girl Melbourne. Follow Allyson at Allyson AJ and Gabby at Gabrielle Adele. And if you have any comments or theories, or if we forgot anything, please let us know in the comments or hit up our Twitters. I'm always down to tweet back. And thanks for watching. See you guys next week.
bye.
Bye.